Welcome to Hancock's VMware Half Hour, and welcome back to another Hancock's VMware Half Hour. Okay, we'll get into this quickly. This is part 6 of our DIY NAS using our NUC 11 Extreme and UNRAID. Okay, so in part 6, if you watched the last video, in part 5, we actually turned around and said that we were going to have a little look at installing all these bunch of Samsung 990 Pro PCIe 4.0 NVMe M.2 SSDs. So we're going to take 2 of these, 2 4 terabyte NVMe's. We're going to bob them in our NUC 11 Extreme. Remember, we've still got our 2 XPG versions in there at the moment. We're going to replace them at a later date as well. And of course, the way that the NUC 11 Extreme is manufactured is that 2 of the slots, the NVMe slots, are Gen 3. 2 of the other slots are Gen 4. So in today's video, we're going to basically bob in a couple of 990 Pros into those slots. And if the video's short enough after we've done that, then we'll cut to Windows 11. I'm curious, and I want to check. I've read an awful lot of comments have been made online about the counterfeit Samsung 990 Pro NVMe's that are around. And sadly, Samsung don't really give a monkey's cuss about it, to be honest with you. They just turn around and say take it up with the retailer. So these were purchased from Amazon and they were shipped from Amazon. I didn't actually basically use a reseller on Amazon, and you have got to be a little bit careful really and have your wits about you today what you are purchasing from Amazon, because it may not necessarily be from Amazon. It may be from one of their sellers. Anyway, so we're going to run up the Samsung Magician's whatever wizard thing, and hopefully that should validate them and tell me that they're genuine or certified or something or other, because I'm not really an expert in this recognizing fakes, to be honest with you. And fake electronics is now becoming more difficult to spot. The reason I went for the 990 Pro, blistering speed and endless victory. I'm reading the back of the box. No. After looking at many reviews, one of the things that really actually basically tipped it for me in the end was the 5-year limited warranty. Now, this is actually limited by the amount of data that's written to them, and I think it's either 5 years or 2,400 terabytes, I think it was. I think it was 2,400 terabytes. Not quite sure we're going to get to that sort of right in 5 years in this Intel NUC, but we'll see. So that's really one of the things. And, of course, surprise, surprise, in the Black Friday deal, these were cut by £45, bringing the price down of them quite a lot. So, so he snapped up quite a few. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a swig of an espresso, and then I'm going to move this cut, because otherwise something really bad's going to happen. And we'll end up spilling it everywhere and over the Intel NUC, and that will be the end of the series. Anyway, so the first one I'm going to install, and it would help really if you could see that, wouldn't it, really? Otherwise it wouldn't be much of a video. So let's just turn on that. There we go. So on the base, there is a panel. And a lot of people have criticised, again, I think Steve at Gamers Nexus criticised the location of this, because there was no way that you could get any sort of kind of heat sink in there. But the first, and I actually basically think he turned around and said that if you look at that there's some thermal tape, and that just sinks onto a bit of metal and that metal isn't really going anywhere, to be honest, and I'm not quite sure there's any fan in here either. So the first one we're going to install there. So the first thing I need to do is to do an unboxing. Just let me just get me little, well, it's not really a craft knife. It's actually a wire, but that will allow me to cut the box open a minute. And just break the seal so we can get our first one out. Talk amongst yourselves a minute while we try and get into this Samsung box and or hum a tune. I've been struggling of late, really, with support companies. They're really. Oh, okay. I can get into this. This seal tape is it's a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be. There we go. Yeah, support companies. I'm really losing my patience at the moment with support companies. Let's have a little look at where we are with this. Okay, so there's the screw. And again, carefully just keeping that screw so it doesn't actually basically disappear anywhere, because we tried to put one in the other day and there was no way that was going to work. So we're going to put that in. Like that. Probably is room there, maybe for a small heatsink, possible. We'll see what the temperatures are like. Oh, this is fiddly. Again, fat fingers, tiny screw. What could go wrong with it bouncing on the floor? And that's the end of that. Okay. I don't really want to insert that and screw that in too hard. Okay, so that's the first one done. Again, I do like the fact that this screw that's in this here is captive, so we're not going to lose that one. And yeah, I'm not even sure, to be honest, really, whether or not that that heat tape is even going to stick on that NVMe. So that's the first one done. Now, the troublesome one. You may have seen when we did the first two that was a bit of a struggle with these fat fingers. Time for another swig of coffee a minute. Excellent. It's the first espresso of the day. Okay, so let me just turn this back up on its side. Now, as I sort of kind of mentioned before, now that we've actually basically put that network card in, you're going to have to remove that network card, and we're going to have to move that fan shroud. So let's sort of kind of have a little think about what we're doing here now. So I'm going to remove that PCI bracket. That drops down there. Of course, we can. Oh, I've got the other side panel on. I didn't think I'd have to take that off, but of course, we have to take the other side panel off, because the only way that we can actually basically pull up that there is to take the other side panel off. Okay, so I'm going to have to take out the network interface card that we put in part 3. That was a guess. So I have to take that network card out. As I said to you, I did say in that video that we're going to have to revisit and take out that network card. So we'll put that network card there. Hopefully you can still sort of kind of see roughly what I'm doing. The light's a bit better in here, because, as I said, you know, we're doing this in daylight. We're not doing this in total darkness like we did before, which we had to use an extra light. Anyway, so let's put the fan shroud over there. And now let's have a little look. Okay, so we've got to take out these little screws at the top here. Now, it'll be interesting to see now, when we take out these screws at the top, whether or not the because we saw before that there was spring-loaded, that bit, there were some spring-loaded bits of metal that had some sticky thermal tape on them. And I did sort of kind of wonder and say, I wonder whether or not we're going to have issues if we actually take this off again, because they're going to stick to the NVMe's and they're going to fight us. Just let me actually basically loosen up that screw a bit, and hopefully this time we've actually basically learned, as I said to you, and I said that I'd show you if I could. There we go. Okay, so that's pulled out of the way. It does actually look like, can you actually basically see that there are indents there, and they match exactly what's on those heat sinks. So they are definitely touching those heat sinks. And can you also see, I mentioned this before in the last video, and I did turn around and say that I would show you. I'm not quite sure if you can actually make them out. Maybe I'll have to turn. No, still can't get a good shot. You'll have to believe me, but there are some lugs on here, here, and here, and those lugs have actually basically got to sit in there, there, and there, which is what I was having an issue with before, because I didn't really understand how this case actually snapped together. Okay, so our second, excuse me, I'm away from the mic. Anyway, I used to wear, if you've watched some of these videos, I used to actually basically wear a lapel mic. The only problem with the lapel mic really was that it was difficult to find a place to secure it on my t-shirt without an awful lot of messing around and tape, etc. It's getting warm in here now. It's because I've shut the door to keep the noise out and the cats out. I might have to open a window. Oh, it's fallen on the floor. Okay, so this time you take that lid off. I took the wrong lid off before. So what I'm saying is that you take the cardboard lid off and it's presented to you like that. Notice the lack of plastic on the earlier NVMe's and stuff that you used to get from Samsung. Awful lot of plastics, and now basically it's recycled cardboard. Save the planet and all that. Okay, so we'll have a screw. Okay, so just tilting. Tell you what I'm going to have to do with this one. I think probably going to have to move this on its side a minute. I can't get easy access to that screw. Bit of thread lock on it, and oh, that's a awkward place. Not a lot of space in there. So I'll tell you what, I'll just bob this in, and this is actually basically going in a Gen 4 slot. It's actually labeled Gen 4. We'll put that screw back in. Should really magnetize this screwdriver again. Oh, hang on. It does appear to be magnetized. It's interesting. Just check the other screws are. So it's possible there is actually room in here for, because the other ones have got heat sinks on. They're not very high or deep. Oh dear. Anyway, as I was saying, I used to use a lapel mic, but it was just used to rustle with my t-shirt all the time, so I stopped. Anyway, okay, So now we've got to put all this back together. And can you actually basically see in the background there our 990 Pro that we've installed? And later we're going to replace those two with our 990 Pros as well. But I'll explain that in another video. Okay, so now we've got to put this back. Remembering USB cable that we did in part 5 is getting in the way now. Okay, so that sits in there, that sits in there, and tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pause this a minute while I fettle. It's okay. Yeah, I think that the reason I'm fighting a little bit with this is because those two heat sinks I've got on those XPG, I don't think they're fouling, but they take a bit of fettling basically to take up the slack in those springs with that. So if I didn't actually basically have NVMe sticks with heat sinks on, I think things would go a little bit better. Anyway, follow the reverse. So let's put back our heat shroud. And it was interesting because I was actually having a little look at later NUCs. Not that I'm going to buy one, but it's interesting that I noticed that I think the 12 and 13, they don't come with this heat shroud. So people are making them on Thingiverse, or people are 3D printing them. So I don't know why. I don't know why Intel decided that they were going to drop and not actually basically provide a heat shroud for them. If you know the answer, then drop it in the comments. We're going to put back the network interface, the 10 GB network interface. So we're going to drop that back in there. I've just actually basically fettled around with the cables there for the internal USB that I've fettled. Obviously, by using the internal USB, which is USB 2, I think, which certainly doesn't cause any problems for UNRAID. Now, UNRAID is a little bit special when it comes to USB sticks, because I think it's the GUID of the USB stick, which is unique to the USB stick, is what your license is tied to. So you can't basically just copy the contents off that USB stick onto another one without going through the proper flash recovery mechanism. It's not going to work. So that's why you have to really make sure that you've got good quality USB stick, and you don't lose it, don't get corrupt, and doesn't get stolen. So inside the case, best place for it to be, and also frees up all the slots on the back for other USB things. Okay, so I think we're done. I'm going to put the back plate on. This one is this one. As I said to you, how long it's going to be before I've had these side panels off so many times that they break in this series. We will see. I'm sweating now. It's so warm in here. So I think that's that side plate to go on. Yeah. That doesn't. That's better. Just spotted. These little plastic catches. Let's turn it around and you can see. On the back of the NUC, these plastic catches have actually got to go over the 4 metal holes for the backplate. So always learning here on the Hancock's VMware half hour, and hopefully you are as well. So we can put that. There we go. We can put that back on. I can screw that up. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut to Windows 11. I think I already have the Samsung Magicians thing or installed. We'll run that up and we'll check out our NVMe's and then we'll call it a day. So let's just do there. Right, okay, so I'll put this on pause and we'll get it powered up. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm looking at the time. We've got about 5 minutes left for this to be Hancock's VMware half hour. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so here's our Windows 11 machine. All I've done is just turn it on. So I'm going to run disk management. So we'll do. Let's have a little look in device manager first and have a little look at disk drives. Okay, good. So we've got Samsung SSD 990 Pro 4TB, Samsung SSD 990 Pro 4TB. I wonder whether or not that you spotted there that there was a giveaway. I haven't done the reveal yet. I promised the reveal in the part 100, part 101 VMware converter. And I said that I was going to do a big reveal, and I've not done that big reveal yet. I might do the big reveal in the next video or the next video, and I'll call it the reveal or something like that. Merry Christmas. But anyway, you might have spotted it then. There have been some little Easter eggs along the way in the last couple of videos, and I've not mentioned anything. Okay, so you can see there, this is the VMware vCenter converter machine that we used in part 100 and part 101. That mega video that took me 60 hours and over 22 hours of video footage that was shot to edit that down to a 32-minute video. I think we managed to get it to show the process. Okay, so we're going to run disk management. We've definitely got our NVMe's installed. That's good. Disk 1, disk 2, we need to write some signatures and initialize them. So I'm going to click OK. There they both are. Disk 1, disk 2. It says 3.7 gigabytes, which is roughly almost 4 terabytes, isn't it? So we'll say we'll assign that as F. We'll do a quick format. And we'll do the same with that one. That's interesting. It didn't actually basically say. Wonder why it didn't automatically. Yeah, I wonder, maybe it hadn't updated fast enough, and that's why we're being offered F again. Next, finish. Okay, so we've got two formatted NVMe sticks that you just saw me install in a kind of a fashion with these fat fingers. So as I said, what we wanted to do is that I really wanted to get the Samsung Magician running on these because I actually basically wanted to see whether or not that it said that they were genuine. It's interesting. I thought somewhere it said that they would be genuine, but I'm sure before I've seen it. Let me put. Yeah, okay, they've moved it around. Okay, so drive dashboard, 205 megabits written already. Drive details, serial number. Yeah, there's my serial number, and I couldn't really give a monkey's whether or not you have that or not. There's the firmware, and it says it's genuine. I don't really know how they know it's genuine. Temperature's very hot though, 49 degrees C. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know which one that is, to be honest with you. I wonder whether or not that's the one on the bottom. And that's the one that's actually basically in the compute chassis. We'll have to have a little look at that. 50 degrees C now. It's warm. We're not even using it. we'll have to have a little look at the bench, the tests and specs to see what sort of kind of temperature these are supposed to get to. Okay, drive details again, genuine serial number, and the same with that one. And we got 205 megabytes written as well. Okay, so there we go. You've seen me successfully install some Samsung SSD 990 Pro 4 terabytes, Gen 4 NVMe M.2 SSDs in our Intel NUC Extreme 11th Gen in what is part 6. So again, my name's Andrew Hancock on a dreary afternoon on Saturday the 29th of November, and it's absolutely tipping down out there. It's horrible. And I've got the windows open because it's so warm in here. It's 26 degrees C in the lab here, and on the 29th of November, so I've got the windows open. So thanks very much for watching another video by me, Andrew Hancock, at Hancock's VMware Half Hour. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. And if you like these videos and you like what I do, then come back for the next video. And I'm sort of kind of having to have a little think in the next video. What do we do? Maybe in the next video it's time to come clean and do reveal and that little secret that I've not been letting on to. And again, the keen-eyed amongst you may notice something on this screen, another little Easter egg that could give it away. Anyway, so again, thanks so much for watching. Thank you very much, and come back for what could be part 6, part 7, part 8, I don't know. Come back for the next one, as they're published on YouTube, where we maybe take the covers off and we have a little look behind the covers, or behind the curtain at what's been going on here at Hancock's VMware Half Hour. Anyway, goodbye now, and stay safe, stay alive, and be kind and work hard. Bye bye now.